What is up, sexy beast? Crazy Rabbit here, and today I got a video for you guys that should have been made a long time ago, but hey, better late than never. We're going to be comparing the M8A1 to the M8A7 and then taking a look at both these weapons on round 50. So let's go ahead and get this shit started. So you guys should know the deal by now. The first thing I'm going to do is let you guys watch and listen to each of these weapons, both the unupgraded versions and the upgraded versions, just so you guys can get a feel for them and see and hear the differences. So here you go. I gotta say, I think I prefer the M8A7 when it comes to sound. I don't know why, I kind of like that little high-pitched ring it has to it. I don't know, it just kind of appeals to me. I think it sounds a little bit nicer. But the Black Ops 2 M8A1 is actually only going to be available on Transit, Nuketown, and Die Rise. I feel like it should be on a lot more maps, but sadly it is not. And I believe the Black Ops 3 M8A7 is actually in every single map, whether it be in the mystery box or an actual wall weapon, but I do think it actually is in every single map. And these weapons are going to be very, very similar, as you will see throughout a lot of these tests, and they're not just similar in name, they're only off by like 6 numbers. They're also going to be similar because they're both 4-round burst weapons. Now in zombies, how I play, burst weapons aren't really my thing. I can really never get around using burst weapons. They're always just a huge nuisance to me. I'm not a huge fan of them. Like, I've tried to stay on that giant catwalk. I almost said Darius. I've tried to stay on that catwalk in the giant for a pretty long time using a lot of different weapons, and I can really never just seem to make it work with that M8A7. I don't know why. Burst weapons just don't do it for me. I've tried training, I've tried a lot of different things. Just not a huge fan of them. You might like them, you might be great with them. Just how I play zombies, they're just not for me. So I really never use the M8A7 or really back in Black Ops 2, the M8A1. Whether it be multiplayer zombies, I just really never got around to using them that much. So saying all that, which was completely pointless, but I like to give you guys my background behind each weapon, let's go ahead and compare these things. So if we compare the fire rate first, I line up both weapons side by side and I start shooting at the exact same time. These fire rates are going to be pretty similar. Since these are 4-round burst weapons, it all really kind of comes down to user error, because if you try to just keep clicking and clicking over and over and over again, sometimes you're gonna like hesitate because you click too fast. You're gonna hesitate for like half a second and it kind of slows down your fire rate a little bit, or well, it slows down to you getting back to firing, if that makes any sense. So sometimes you really don't want to be spamming the mouse button or spamming the trigger, because sometimes your gun's gonna hesitate and it's just gonna slow your fire rate down. And that's really why I like having weapons that don't have like a set fire rate, especially when it comes to like the FAL and Black Ops 2. That thing didn't have a set fire rate. You could fire that thing as fast as you wanted to, but unfortunately the SMR did. So that means even though the SMR is semi-automatic, you can only fire it so fast, and I believe those things actually still apply to these 4-round burst weapons. They can only fire so fast, and if you actually try to exceed that, it's going to stop you. So you can definitely make the M8A1 fire faster than the M8A7 and vice versa. It really all comes down to the user and how comfortable and familiar they are with the actual weapon itself. Alright, so the next thing we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the reload speed, and these reload speeds are going to be the exact same. Even the animations are going to be the exact same. I'm pretty sure Treyarch just copied this M8A1 and kind of just ported it over to Black Ops 3 and was like, hey, let's just paint it a different color, and then bam, it's the M8A7. They must have been like really lacking on gun ideas, or a lot of people must have just really loved the M8A1. Alright, so the last thing we're going to be taking a look at before we actually get to these upgraded versions is going to be the accuracy. So let's start off with the Hipfire. So when it comes to overall hipfire, I'm going to have to give it to the Black Ops 3 M8A7, and this is actually going to be the same for recoil too, because the M8A1 has a lot of recoil and a lot of kick to it, and you're kind of going all over the place. Like when you look at the hipfire, the M8A7 kind of bounces up and down a little bit, but it's nowhere near as bad as like the M8A1, where you just kind of keep going straight up. And even when you look at the recoil, I feel like the M8A1 has a lot more bounce to it. I feel like that's the perfect word to describe it than the M8A7. The Black Ops 3 version, I'm just going to say Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2 because I'm going to mess up those names at one point. But the Black Ops 3 version really doesn't have that much kick to it or recoil or anything. It's pretty accurate, but the Black Ops 2 one kind of has a lot of bounce to it. Kind of goes up and then down, up and then down. I mean, that's what recoil should do, but it just feels like it has a lot of bounce to it. Like, that's the perfect word to describe it in my opinion. And when it comes to overall ammo, what these things actually hold, they're both going to hold 32 in the magazine, and the M8A1 is going to hold 192 in stock, and the Black Ops 3 M8A7 is going to hold 256 in stock, and the Black Ops 3 version is also a wall weapon on some maps. So when it comes to ammo, you got to give it to the Black Ops 3 M8A7. Alright, so now we have both these weapons upgraded, let's go and take a look at all those tests over again. So when you actually upgrade the M8A1, it's going to turn into the Micro Aerator, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And when you upgrade the Black Ops 3 M8A7, it's going to turn into the Unspeakable. Let's go ahead and take a look at the fire rate first. Now the problem with doing the fire rate test is that both these weapons are 4-round burst, and the Micro Aerator, or the M8A1 from Black Ops 2, is only going to carry 42 in the magazine and 336 in stock, while the Unspeakable is going to carry 48 in the magazine and 480 in stock. You can kind of see the problem. The Micro Aerator carries 42 and the Unspeakable carries 48, and they're both 4-round burst weapons, so it's kind of hard to determine which has a faster fire rate. So basically what I did was, I just started shooting with full magazines, and whichever one ended shooting first, I basically stopped it and tried to see how much ammo the other gun was actually at, and every time I did that, the M8A1 got done shooting first, and every time it got done emptying its magazine, the Unspeakable still had around 4 to 8 shots depending on which frame you want to end off in, so I would say their fire rates are going to be pretty even. With my ghetto ass test, it was pretty hard to tell, but that is what I'm going to go ahead and assume. Alright, the next test we're going to be taking a look at is going to be the reload speed, and if I start reloading at the exact same time, similar to the upgraded versions, the reload speed is going to be the exact same. Now, you always can get that up faster on the Unspeakable. I believe you can actually put an attachment that allows you to load faster, so you can't always get that reload speed up with the Unspeakable. As of now, I am dealing with the base version, so mine does not have that. And if we take a look at the accuracy, the results are going to be very, very similar to the upgraded versions. The Black Ops 3 M8A1 or Unspeakable is going to be a lot more accurate than the Black Ops 1 M8A1. And even though the M8A1 has a red dot, it's still not going to be as accurate. I feel like you're still bouncing all over the place, while the Unspeakable really doesn't move. Look at that recoil on that thing. It really doesn't go anywhere. Now when it comes to overall hipfire, those things are about the same. Neither weapon really moves that much. I'll probably say the Black Ops 2 M8A1, and I'm pretty sure at some point I've probably said Black Ops 1, but I think the M8A1 might have a little bit better of a hipfire, and I believe the Black Ops 3 M8A7 might be better when it comes to ADSing. So I guess when it comes to overall accuracy, the edge might be given to the M8A7 just because who really hipfires with a 4-round burst weapon, but one excels at hipfiring and one excels at ADSing, so I guess they're kind of tied. Alright, so now let's take a look at both these weapons on round 50. Let's go ahead and take a look at the M8A1 first. So the M8A1 doesn't really carry that much ammo. It's a 4-round burst weapon. It is not a wall weapon. You have to get it from the box. It's only available on a couple maps, and some of those maps are shit. It really does not have that much going for it. And even in multiplayer, I really never use this. Not a huge fan of burst weapons, like I said before. I think like the only burst weapon I've really ever used in multiplayer was like the Black Ops 1 M16. That thing was pretty fucking badass. Every other burst weapon I tend to ignore. And that rule also applies into zombies, and there's a very good reason. They're not that good at high rounds. As you can see, the M8A1 is struggling to get some kills. I don't think I even got 5 kills with this M8A1 on this run because it's just that bad. It doesn't really do that much damage. It's a burst, so you're really not going to be constantly unloading ammo. It's going to be very, very slow. And you're just going to run through ammo very, very quick. So there's really, in my opinion, no reason to have this weapon whatsoever. Unless you're just like a huge fan of it. Like you got pictures of it all over across your room. You kiss it all the time. Unless you're like that big of a devoted fan, I would just recommend you stay away from this M8A1 at all costs. In my opinion, it's not worth it whatsoever. Now the Black Ops 3 M8A7 is a little bit different of a story. When it comes to multiplayer, I have no fucking clue. I played Black Ops 3 multiplayer for a grand total of like 10 minutes, and I never played it again. So I have no idea if it's good or not in multiplayer. If it's anything like it is in zombies, I would assume it's pretty decent. But this thing on round 50 is actually going to be able to get you some kills. Not a lot. I said some. It's not going to be like the M8A1 where that equals like a Black Ops 1 weapon. It's not going to be that bad. But it's not going to be like the Dingo or the Draken or anything else like that. It's not going to be on par with them. It's going to be a little bit under average, I would say, for a lot of Black Ops 3 weapons. It's only going to be able to get you some kills, just really not that many. I guess if you compare it to the M8A1, it's obviously just going to run circles around it because, as you can see, this thing is actually doing something, but in the grand total of all the weapons in zombies, it really doesn't compare with some of the greats or even just some of the average weapons. And like I said before, that's just mainly because it's a 4-round burst weapon, and it really just doesn't do that much damage regardless. In my opinion, burst weapons are pretty good really early round weapons, but like once you get to the teens, that's where I would, in my opinion, just switch them out. Go grab something else. They're really not worth it. But this is all based off of how I play zombies, and you might have a completely different opinion, which is totally fine. Everyone's allowed to have their own opinion. Let me know in the comments which one do you guys prefer, and which one do you guys actually prefer in multiplayer. Like I said before, I've never used the M8A7 in multiplayer, so I have no idea if it's good or not. Let me know in the comments. And also real quick, I want to say thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help make these videos possible. If you want to be a Patreon supporter, go ahead and check out the link in the description. They get access to a bunch of different stuff. They get videos early, extra content, their name on my head during some live streams, and a lot more. So if that interests you, go ahead and check it out. Link will be in the description. And also go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links will also be in the description. They are the best ways to come in contact with me. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And if you're in Florida, be safe out there. That hurricane is coming or has already came, depending on when I upload this video. I'm in Florida right now. I'm recording this like a couple days before the hurricane. So if my power's out, just follow me on Twitter. I'll keep you guys up to date with everything that's going on. And like I said previously, I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.